What is up, everybody? This is Anthony with VR 365, and it is Super Bowl Sunday. It is February 3rd. It is about 11:10 a.m. And yeah, we just got done with the VR Roundtable episode that just concluded a little while ago. And here I am for VR 365. I believe this is episode 87 of the show, Sunday Fun Day, the after party. And I gotta tell you guys something here. Oh, I gotta turn my volume down. Hold on, because my trailers, I gotta turn my volume. Let's see. Hold on. Okay. Yeah, I gotta get my volume right, because what happens is whenever I do the VR Roundtable episode, I turn my volume way down. And then sometimes that makes me turn these trailer volumes like way too high. So I gotta be careful of that. Okay, so, let's see. Gary Haylock in chat says Anthony is eating a banana, and yeah, I actually just threw it away. I just had a banana like 2 minutes ago. Let me tell you guys, I have not ate very much food today. I had a piece of toast, okay? A piece of toast, mind you. Right before the VR Roundtable episode started, I had a cup of coffee and a piece of toast. That's it. Did not have a legitimate breakfast, just something so I had something in my stomach. VR Roundtable is over. I'm starving. What do? I grab a banana. So I just ate a banana. That's going to give me a little bit of time, but it's not going to hold me over for an incredibly long time. So this probably will be a shorter show. Of course, I say that every single time, and it never is. But I think it might actually really happen, guys. The other thing I want to say is I have no topics, nothing. I don't even have the Oculus deal of the day. I have absolutely nothing to go to. But what we can do is we can go to the mailbag. We can go to the various subreddits and see what people are talking about. We can go to Upload VR, Road to VR. They're probably not going to have much of anything. And we could also get into some different kinds of topics. For example, at the very end of VR Roundtable today, we were talking about a relatively interesting subject, which is, oh yeah, my dog. I don't know if you guys, yeah, my dog's in the background here. You know why my dog is here? Let me explain it, okay? So, excuse me. So nobody's here right now. I'm the only one that's here. And I have two doors over there that are both closed. My dog is in the living room, and he's literally howling at the moon. Like, seriously, he's howling, he's growling, not growling, he's howling. He's basically all alone, and my dog, my dog has entered this era now where he cannot be alone. Pet your dog? No. Ugh, yucky. My dog is, you know, here's the problem. If I start petting my dog, I gotta wash my hands. His hair. Now my cat, I can pet my cat and I don't immediately need to wash my hands. If I pet my dog, I'll have to wash my hands. But yeah, he's down there. He's a good little puppy. I love that puppy. You're a good puppy. Yeah. See, there you are. Say hi to everybody, Mason. Oh, you're a good puppy. Yes, you are. Yeah, that's my dog, Mason. I did not make that name up. We adopted him from like an SPCA, and they said his name was Mason, okay? So we're like, okay, Mason. He was a nice little puppy and everything. And so we called him Mason, and I normally call him Mace. Like, that's short for Mason. Like, I'll say, Mace, come on, do this. Mace, do that. Okay, and then one time my dog got lost, right? But he has a little chip. You know, there's like a little chip in him. And he got lost, and we looked up the chip. We had like this code number, and we put it in, and we got into this registry for like lost dogs, and they found him. And we found out that his name was not Mason. His name is Breezer. That's his name, Breezer. He doesn't answer to the name Breezer, but that's like his real name is Breezer, but for the longest time we were calling him Mason. But anyway, yeah, that is my puppy. He's a good little pup. Actually, he's pretty old. He's not a pup. Okay. But why don't we do this? So let's go ahead and bounce over to our Webby browser. Let me go ahead and get our Webby browser set up. You know, another thing I screwed up with the Webby browser too is I actually closed out of this completely, and so I don't have like all my normal things up the way they should be. Oculus Rift experiences. So we got to get back into the mix here so I can find the daily deal of the day, because that is something I do always go to. So let's go ahead and switch over here to our webby browser. And here it is, guys. Oh, no, go back. Games Bowl 2019. Yeah, buddy. This is exciting, right? Games Bowl. No. Go back. Stay here. Stay here forever. Because do you see these little characters? I love these little characters. They got these little tiny heads. You know, these little Game Bowl characters. It's right down here, too, as well. Got game? Got game, in it to win it. Let's go ahead and click on this. This is $55. There's 12 hours left in this. But I love these little characters. I like these little guys. I like their tiny little heads and their little bodies. And I went ahead and grabbed them. Hopefully I don't get sued. Hopefully Oculus lets it slide, because I actually use these guys in my thumbnail image. And that's probably going against all kinds of rules out there. Okay, so here's their deal. It's called Got Game Question Pack. In it to win it. Game Bowl 2019. Go for the gold. Compete with friends in 5 fun sports games. Get in it to win it for $55. Now, you do get Creed Rise to Glory. It is a very solid game, no question about that. Definitely the best boxing game out there. I mean, there's really no question about it. It is the best boxing game. You got Spark, which is really quite cool. I'm a big fan of Spark. You get VR Sports Challenge, which I think is a good collection of mini games. Now, Racket Fury Table Tennis, I don't know. I'm pretty sure I tried a demo of this game and just never got into it. And Cricket Club, I have no idea. What is cricket? Kind of looks like baseball, but it's not baseball. Yes, I know cricket was invented before baseball, and I know that we stole it. We stole cricket, we changed it a little bit, and we called it baseball. I know that. But yeah, that is their Got Game Pack. I don't know that I would recommend that in a major way. And oh, look at this, early access. Please understand that this is early access, guys. This is kind of a new thing that Oculus is doing, because in the beginning, like early access games, like it didn't say anything at all. But now they got this little... See, they have this little early access highlight now. I can't believe Drunkn Bar Fight is still in early access. It's been in early access for a long time. But this is Drunkn Bar Fight. It is the deal of the day. You can grab it for $7. Normal price is $12. There is 41% off. And I don't know. I've played Drunkn Bar Fight. I even got a t-shirt. Like the developer of this game, it's called The Monkey. The Monkey is the developer of this game, and they sent me 2 t-shirts. So I should love this game way more than normal, because they gave me some merch. I like it. It's a cool game. It's kind of one of these funny games. It's really, it honestly reminds me of Thrill of the Fight in a way. And one of the cool things about this game, like in terms of its best qualities, it really is this idea of you're in a bar, you're drinking beers, there's a bunch of people walking around, and haven't you ever wanted to go psycho? Look, I know we've all been there. Yesterday I said, haven't you ever wanted to be a house burglar? And somebody replied immediately in chat, no, Anthony, I've never wanted to be a house burglar. I was talking about, what was it, Thief Simulator 2019 or whatever it's called, Thief Simulator VR, that's going to be coming out. And I said, hasn't everybody wanted to be a house burglar? Apparently not. I'm the only one that has ever wanted to do that in a weird way. Okay, now, has anybody ever wanted to be one of those drunken bar idiots that just looks for a fight everywhere? Haven't you wanted to be this guy? I know you know who this guy is. You've had a friend, you got a friend, everybody has one of these friends where wherever you take this guy, he is always looking to get into some fisticuffs. You know, he's always looking to get into a fight. If somebody looks at him the wrong way, if somebody accidentally bumps into him, or anything, dude is ready to throw at the drop of a hat, ready to go toe-to-toe. And if you get the guy drunk, forget about it. He's getting into a fight guaranteed. Well, that's what this is. It's a simulator for that. It's Drunken Bar Fight. You get in there, you can grab some bottles, you can smash it on their heads. And yeah, Muppet on Med says, I hate that guy. Yeah, the always want to fight guy. We know that guy, though. That is a guy that is well known. Like, everybody knows that guy. But that's what you can do in Drunken Bar Fight. I think it's okay. I think it's fun. It's fun for like an afternoon. And they have different little backgrounds. Like there's a background where it's like a wedding. You're at somebody's wedding and you start fighting at somebody's wedding. I think you could even fight with the bride and the groom. And they have a Halloween mode and a couple of other things like that. But that is going for $7. I would say, I would say on this one. I don't know that I can honestly recommend it, to be totally honest with you. It's not terrible. It's not god-awful. I've played much worse. And you could definitely have fun with this game. But it's more of a comedy kind of a thing than anything else. That is Drunken Bar Fight. All right, let's see. What else can we do here? Well, we can always bounce over to Road to VR, and we can go ahead and give this a nice quick refresh and see what is going on here. And they do have a couple of new stories, actually, since Groundhog Day, so this is exciting. Apple reportedly plans 3-lens and laser 3D cameras for 2019-2020 iPhones. What does this have to do with VR? I don't know. Why don't we click on it and find out? Now, this story is actually by VentureBeat. VentureBeat and Upload VR are partners in crime, and so they kind of share stories back and forth. Every once in a while, you'll have an Upload VR story that shows up on VentureBeat, and every once in a while, you'll have a VentureBeat story that shows up on Upload VR, and that's what this is. And I don't know if it's really related to VR in a major way. Let me go ahead and scroll down here and see if it talks about VR at some point. It talks about, in addition to the camera updates, the report confirms that Apple will update its entry-level iPad and iPad mini, and they're likely to continue to use a proprietary Lightning port rather than USB-C. See, I was wondering if it might have USB-C, then it could possibly tether to some of these different headsets. I don't know. This story doesn't seem to have anything to do with VR whatsoever. Not sure exactly why we have this story. Apparently there's a 3D camera. You know, does that relate to VR? I have no idea why this story is on Upload VR, to be completely honest with you. But anyway, let's go ahead and check out the next one. DigiCapital. This is another VentureBeat story that is coming over here. AR/VR investment has stabilized in the fourth quarter. Let's go ahead and check this out. Yeah, Pokemon Go, that of course is Niantic, I believe, is the developer of Pokemon Go. And let's see, DigiCapital tracks startups raising over $6 billion across AR and VR and computer vision in 2018, driven by large late-stage deals in China. A lot of mega deals going on in China. There has been a gradual decline in overall AR/VR deal volumes in the last 2 years. And this has happened, and look, they have an interesting little breakdown here. Unfortunately, I can't click on this. It doesn't seem to want to let me click on it. But I think these are where the different investments is going. It's kind of like trying to give you a breakdown here. But one of the things that have happened with VR over the last 3 or 4 years is VR had this incredible amount of hype in the very beginning. This goes back to 2015 and early 2016. There was a tremendous amount of hype around VR. A lot of people believed that VR was going to come out. It was going to be this incredible next level thing. Everybody was going to rush out immediately to buy themselves a VR headset, and it was just going to take off like none other. And so we had venture capitalists tripping over themselves to give as much money as possible to any VR company out there. And a lot of that was happening in 2015 and 2016. Then that kind of died down a little bit because we started to realize that no, VR wasn't quite ready for prime time. We don't exactly have that product that's going to cause everybody and their uncle's mama to run out to Walmart and buy this particular headset or that particular headset. We don't have that product right now. And so all the venture capitalists, they took their bags and they left. And they basically started throwing money at AR because they thought, okay, well, maybe VR isn't the way to go. Yep, it's all about AR. And of course, you got Magic Leap and everybody out there. And then Magic Leap came out with what they had. Nobody apparently seems to care about Magic Leap, and so some of the AR investment has dried up as well. So there has been a decline just in the last couple of years of both AR and VR in terms of investment. There still is investment going on, and a lot of people still realize that if you have a longer term scenario, there still could be some incredible stuff that happens in these markets, but you got to have patience. And see, a lot of these venture capitalists, what they want to do is they want to get their investment in, and then within 3 or 4 years, they want to cash out with a major windfall of money, and that's not going to happen. That is not going to happen. It's not a 3 or a 4 year kind of a flip, like a house flip kind of a thing. It is going to be a slow burn. And so that's one of the things that we have to realize here. So that's kind of what they're talking about, I would have to imagine, in all of these little breakdowns. Okay, so not much is going on at Upload VR. Let's go ahead and check Road to VR. Let's go ahead and click on this. And, you know, not much is going on over here. Of course, they're talking about the Groundhog Day VR, which we talked about a lot yesterday. They're talking about how to watch the Super Bowl in VR with friends for free. So let's go ahead and click on this. This is another thing that you're going to see in a lot of websites that talk about VR, some clever little way to combine the Super Bowl with VR. And let's see, what are the ways to do this? So at least one PC user with access to a stream of Super Bowl on their computer. CBS will stream the Super Bowl for free without any subscription at cbssports.com. A headset that supports the Big Screen app. That is free. You know, I still have not tried Big Screen. Can you believe that? I talked about it in a recent show not too long ago, and I still haven't tried Big Screen. Maybe I could do it today, guys. Maybe I could do it today and try to get into somebody's Super Bowl party. And they tell you kind of how to do it. Here's how to do it with Big Screen. Select someone in your group with access to the Super Bowl stream on their PC, which should be anybody if they just go to the CBS website, right? Anybody can do it. Have the host launch the Big Screen app and select Create a Room. Once the room is created, click the Invite Your Friends button and copy the room ID and share with guests. See, there's a lot of hoops you got to jump through to make this whole thing happen. Now the host should put on their VR headset and use their floating desktop screen to pull up the Super Bowl stream on their computer. Yeah, so I don't know. Interesting. Have not tried it. The one thing that we can say in relation to the Super Bowl, and I asked this on VR Roundtable earlier today, do you guys think we're going to get an Oculus Quest Super Bowl commercial? And if we do get an Oculus Quest Super Bowl commercial, do you think it will be a major deal? Like, do you think it will have an impact going forward? Now, on VR Roundtable, Steve didn't think, he thought maybe we're too far away from the launch of the Oculus Quest. But one of the things I've seen, and this does happen at the Super Bowl, is sometimes they'll have these like teasers, these kinds of teaser commercials where it's just like Oculus coming in spring, and it's like black, and then they show like something with like a sheet over it. You can't see exactly what it is, you know, and they try to tease it, and then maybe later in the Super Bowl they pull the thing off and they show off a little quick commercial about the Oculus Quest. I don't think it's completely inconceivable that could possibly happen. So I don't know that it's out of the realm of possibility that we might actually get ourselves an Oculus Quest commercial at the Super Bowl. There could be an Oculus Go commercial. There could be some Samsung VR related commercial, some kind of Daydream related commercial. But I don't know. I feel like the Samsung thing and the Daydream thing, I think all of that stuff is kind of dried up. So I'm not sure that we're going to get a commercial from any of those guys. But just looking at this picture right here, and it shows this giant screen, and this is obviously a simulated image. But if we can get to the point where it looks that good, where everybody is watching a big 4K screen and we all feel like we're in the same living room together, that would be pretty awesome. I have a feeling it's not going to look anything like this, but I don't know. Maybe I should try it out. And then bouncing over here to chat, let's see what some of the people are talking about. Orlor says, this is the problem with VR. All the games are fun for an afternoon. We need games that are fun for months or even years. Okay, so what Orlor is talking about is I mentioned that Drunkn Bar Fight is kind of one of these afternoon games. And we do have a number of these games where they will entertain you for an afternoon, maybe 1 or 2 afternoons. They provide a nice burst of entertainment, but they're not going to hold you down. And I talk about this a lot of times, games that will hold you down. And an example of this, Fallout 4 VR, Skyrim VR, Beat Saber, In Death, games that you can return to over and over and over again, a game that you're going to be playing for months. Like Beat Saber, you can go into that and you can play it for months because it's exercise, there's new songs that are coming to it. You look at something like Skyrim, I mean, there's a million mods out there. Fallout 4 VR, there's a lot of stuff to discover. It's a huge, gigantic game. And we don't have enough of these. We really don't. And In Death, it's a roguelike. It can kind of repeat forever and ever and ever again. So those are the kind of games that you can hold, that can hold you down. Talos Principle VR. It's a puzzle game, but it's huge, man. It goes forever. So I think that's another one. Like, I'm trying to think of what VR games do we have that have just a lot of, like, you can play them for months and months. I just gave some examples. If anybody else has any other examples, go ahead and pop them into chat. I'd be curious to see what people are talking about. Let's see. I'm looking for what other people are talking about. Okay, Paradise Decay says, if you watch Nathie's latest video, VR is massive in China. Yeah, that's the other thing too, is like, we're in our little isolated bubbles here. And so I'm in a USA bubble. So my bubble is all about what's going on here in America. We got a lot of people that view this show, they're in the UK and they have a UK bubble. And so we kind of think that what is going on in our bubble is going on around the entire world. But that is not exactly the case. And VR is a massive thing in China. And we've seen some different trade shows. Like one time I reported there was a trade show and it showed this huge, gigantic line, and it was all about VR. And it was like regular people waiting in line. It was almost like if there was a brand new Star Wars movie, but this is back in the old days when Star Wars was good, and you would have lines wrapping around the theater and going down like 4 or 5 blocks, and people super excited and enthusiastic. And that's the way people are in China about VR. Like, VR is really big in China. So that is hopeful. Especially, that is a beautiful thing from a number of different angles, because we have a lot of companies that can create products in China that can create them very cheaply, like Pimax, for example. And so if VR becomes absolutely monster in China, we could have a lot of different companies like Hisense, all these different companies that make a lot of cheap TVs, maybe they start getting into the VR game as well. Maybe we'll have some Hisense VR headsets that will come up at a certain point in time. And then Paradise Decay is responding to Orlor about these afternoon games and that we don't have anything deep. And what does Paradise Decay throw out there? He throws out Skyrim and Fallout 4 VR, which is kind of what I threw out there as well. Now, those are the obvious picks. You think of Skyrim, you think of Fallout 4 VR, but what else has like 25 hours of gameplay? Maybe Alien Isolation with the VR mod. I've heard that lasts like 25 hours. So that could be another one that we could throw out there as a game that will hold you over. It'll hold you down for several months. Okay, Muppet on Med says, I think VR will take off now that the prices are going down and new tech helping with the sickness factor. You know, one thing I was thinking about on the VR Roundtable episode, Gary brought up something very interesting on a sidebar note. He was talking about, I think he was talking about his sister and how his sister mentioned that she was looking for a VR headset for her husband, and that his sister, like a year ago, knew nothing about VR. Like, if you asked her what VR was, she wouldn't even, like, she'd have no idea. VR, like, I don't even know what you're talking about. And a year later, his sister is actually, like, researching some VR headsets and maybe looking into getting a VR headset for her husband. And and as Gary was talking about this, little wheels were going around in my mind, and I started to think, and I was like, you know what? You know what kind of sucks, though? Here's what kind of sucks. Is there a perfect product for Gary's sister to deliver to her husband? There really isn't. There really isn't a perfect product that puts it all together in the right kind of way. From an example of, sure, Gary's sister could get her husband an Oculus Rift, but then there also has to be a gaming PC, and there also has to be all this setup, and there also has to be USB sensors, and there also has to be an Initech USB card. I know not everybody needs an Initech USB card. Not everybody needs to have 4 sensors. You can basically get 2. But it's not the easiest thing in the world. Now, when we get the Oculus Quest, that is the product. That's why I think the Oculus Quest is so very important for the overall health of our industry, because the Oculus Quest is the ideal product where Gary's sister can go to whatever the major electronics store is in the UK, like their equivalent of Best Buy or their equivalent of Target or Walmart or whatever, and she can just grab one box that has everything in it. There's no PC required. There's no PlayStation 4 required. There's no PlayStation processing box with 1 million wires going a different way required. There's no USBs required, sensors. There's no lighthouses that you have to screw into your wall, drill holes into your wall. None of that is required. There's just a box that you open up. It's got the headset. It's got the 2 controllers. I think it's a good idea. I think it's a great idea. I mean, that's the product that we need for the casuals that want to add VR. Because, like, I could say, well, you know, get them an Oculus Go. And an Oculus Go is a nice little Band-Aid for now. But the truth is, the Oculus Go, you got that one little remote. You know, you got the one little remote. It's not tracked in 6 degrees of freedom. The headset is not tracked in 6 degrees of freedom. So there's cool things you can enjoy on it, and it's kind of like a starter set. It's kind of like my kid's first VR headset kind of a thing. Like, it kind of introduces you to VR, but I don't think it's that ideal product, and that's why I believe the Oculus Quest it's exactly what we need. And unfortunately, we still don't have it right now. You know, we're waiting for this spring launch. So I don't know that, like, this entire VR equation is really up and running yet, because we don't even have a product that delivers exactly what Gary's sister is looking for. That's what we're looking for, is a product like that. And so that's one of the reasons I'm so excited for the Oculus Quest and its arrival. Anyway, I'm scrolling down here. There's a lot more comments. I Am Rut says, I hope the Patriots win so that I can watch everyone here in Colorado melt down. No, please, for the love of God, not the Patriots. I want to see the Patriots lose back-to-back Super Bowls. That would be beautiful. And I Am Rut says, no wires, no fuss, no muss. Yeah, Main Fan says, wait a minute, you got to charge that baby up. It requires a wire to charge it up. There's Main Fan trying to ruin it all for us. Kaylee Allen says, my sisters are from Colorado and they want the Rams. Can't wait to rub 6 ring in their face. Oh no, we have a Patriots fan in the building, Kaylee Allen. I apologize, Kaylee, for talking so much smack, but you know why I do it. You guys are spoiled, man. You are spoiled. Like, is there any fans of any sports team on planet Earth that are more spoiled than the Patriots fans? Oh my God, wait till like Brady and Belichick retire and that whole franchise falls into ruin. You guys will realize what the rest of us have been dealing with for the last 30 years. Okay, Andrew Rogers says X-Plane. If you want a game that is going to hold you down for months and months and months, maybe even a year, grab yourself X-Plane. Of course, you got to like flight sims, so that is a concern there. DLG27 says, do you think the Quest will be accepted as widely or even more than the Go? Well, the price, price is a major factor because the Quest is a double up. It is a double up in terms of the price. You know, we're talking, you can get a standard Oculus Go for $199. You double up $400. That is a double. So I don't know. I don't know if the Quest, the Quest puts the whole package together because you have legitimate hand presence. And you do have 6 degrees of freedom on the controllers, on the headset. The problem is your average Joe Schmo in Walmart, they might look at an Oculus Go box and they see it for $199, and then they see the Oculus Quest box and it's double the price, and they might not really understand the difference between 6 DOF and 3 DOF. You know, they might not really understand that. But I think when you start getting to birthday parties and gatherings, that's where the Quest is going to come into play, because basically people are going to start bringing their Quests to different celebrations, different birthday parties, different types of family gatherings, gatherings of friends and family, and people are going to get a sniff of what it's all about. They're going to get a brief little taste of what real VR is all about, with legitimate hand presence and all of that. Beat Saber, all kinds of cool games, super hot stuff that they're going to have on the Quest. I think it's going to be popular. I think it's going to work out, and I think Facebook is going to advertise the living crap out of it. So I do believe it will all work out. Let's see. Steve Lee. I use 2 sensors on the Rift, and it takes me about 5 minutes to set up. I don't understand why some folks take so long. The easiest system to get going quick is Windows Mixed Reality. Plug and play. You know, yeah, I kind of forget about Windows Mixed Reality. And yes, it is true. You can use 2 sensors on your Rift. And if you set up your 2 sensors in completely opposite corners, you can get basically almost room scale kind of coverage. But I don't know, there just always seems to be issues. Like every time I turn on my Oculus Rift software, I get a little message. Would you like to set up your Rift now? I set up my Rift years ago. Why am I still getting messages like that? Just little weird things. And I'm just saying that this is like this friction thing. Like you got to deal with frictions. VR Spry Guy, I'm a Detroit Lions fan. Have pity on me. We have a lot of pity for you. We really do, because Detroit Lions fans, goddamn, they have been dealing with it for a very long time. Okay, Gary Haylock, I'm a Jets fan, and my son was too until he turned 14 years old. Then he told me he was a Patriots fan. That was 10 years ago. Oh, man, that's gotta hurt. Yeah, you know, kids are bandwagon jumpers. I have a New Orleans Saints baseball hat that I use sometimes, and the reason we have the hat is because my son bought the hat. This was a number of years ago when the Saints won the Super Bowl. He was a bandwagon jumper and became a Saints fan all of a sudden. Okay, anyway, let's go ahead and get off this little Road to VR story here, and let's see if we can find anything else to talk about. Actually, we can go ahead and bounce over to, why don't we bounce over to the Oculus subreddit, and let me go ahead and refresh this, and let's see if there's anything new that's going on here. So the Reach VR is canceled. I heard about this, but I don't know, like, what is the Reach VR? I'm not even sure. Let's click on this and see. Yeah, it's some type of, like, it looks like it's some kind of MMO game or something. I never heard about this one. But yeah, I guess they're refunding a lot of people. They're either refunding it, and then some of them are... They're trying to figure out a plan to make the current build available for enthusiasts that would still like to check it out. So that is the Reach VR, but I got to be honest and say I do not know anything about it. Vrilya SS says, hey, Tony, will you also Will you also, basically, I think he's saying, will I buy a Pimax? Am I going to get a Pimax at some point in the future? Well, I got to tell you, when I first found out that Steve's Pimax is having these problems, and it's not completely dead, he can still use it here and there. And like he said, that sometimes he'll use it and maybe he can play for an hour and then it has a problem. Other times he uses it and it cuts out in a couple of minutes. That would be incredibly frustrating because we already have a friction scenario with VR as it is. Like, if you have a Nintendo Switch, you hit the power button, bam, you're up and running. VR, you got to set stuff up, you got to grab your headset, you got to get your controllers, you got to hit the buttons. Okay, are my controllers turned on? Okay, now I'm seeing my controllers. Okay, my audio is not, I'm not hearing my audio. Let me go back over to my desktop. Let me click on my audio thing. Let me switch it to the Oculus Rift headphones for the audio to kick in if it's not kicking in or whatever. And to do all of that and then also have a possibility where your headset's just going to cut out on you, that really sucks. And so I got to admit, I am very, very cautious when it comes to Pimax. I just don't think I'm going to go down that road. I'm slightly tempted. I mean, I'm tempted by what Sebastian and a lot of other people have said that, you know, once you try Pimax, you just cannot go back to regular VR. It just doesn't do it for you. And what Steve said as well, you know, he talked about how now that he's played the Pimax, it's hard for him to go back to like a Rift or an Odyssey or anything like that. But then you hear about these people with their Pimaxes breaking down, you know, and Steve isn't the first one that this has happened to. Tyrell Wood, I believe, Sebastian, you know, other people, like lots of people have been having this Pimax problem. Now, Steve believes that it's just the cable. It is simply a cable problem. And so if they can get cables out to everybody, then they can fix this. I do know that one of the issues that we have is, like, back when I had my HTC Vive back in the day, the 3-in-1 cable. After a while, those 3-in-1 cables, it seemed like something was wrong with the very first version of the 3-in-1 cable that came out for HTC Vive. And then they had a new slim 3-in-1 cable because I think there was some kind of problem. And I think it was one of these problems where it's kind of like the red rings of death back in the Xbox days, where basically everyone is going to have that problem. It's just a matter of when it hits you. And that kind of seemed to be the situation almost with the 3-in-1 cable back in the days, in the very early days with HTC. And so that might be the case with Pimax. Maybe they have a manufacturer's defect that is in that cable that maybe it doesn't show up right away, but over extended use, it develops a problem. Now, based on what Steve was talking about, it sounds like that cable can dislodge, like you can unplug that cable out of the headset, which is ideal because very few cables do that. In fact, hold on, I'm going to grab my Oculus Rift here. So here's my Rift right here. Let me go ahead and hold on. I got to get this browser out of the way here. Okay, so here's my Rift right here. And as you can see, the cable loops around and then it goes inside, you know, it goes up inside there. And so with the standard Oculus Rift, if you just wanted to remove this cable, for example, let's say your cat, or you got a little puppy or something, and they chew through this cable and they ruin it, you're pretty boned. I think you got to send this thing back, right? Does it disconnect? I don't know. Maybe this does pop off and you can disconnect it. But like PlayStation VR, you're boned. You're boned because it's going all the way up in there. It doesn't disconnect. And I think it would be awesome. I'm going to put this back down. I think it would be awesome if we can get to a place where eventually on these VR headsets, the cable pops in and you can pop it out. So if you have a problem with your cable, you can just order another cable. You don't got to send the thing away. Also, if you want to wire your setup where you've got those pulleys, you know, you got all the pulley system, then you could have, like, instead of having your, like what some people do is they'll actually put like a chair or some kind of podium or something so that they can have their VR headset just resting on it because the wire's going up to the ceiling and they need to keep it up there like that. But if you could disconnect the cable, then the cable could just be flopping up there. And then when it's time to play VR, you just connect the cable back, bada boom, bada bing. Of course, one of the worries about having a detachable cable on your headset is that if you start moving too far in some direction, it's going to pop that cable out of there. And that could be a problem as well. So that's probably one of the reasons they don't do that on a lot of these VR headsets. But in regards to Pimax in general, like I've been tempted, but I feel like, I don't know, I feel like some other company needs to buy Pimax. If you want to get down to the brass tacks, I need somebody to buy Pimax and make them legit, because I just don't trust a deal like Pimax. For me, if I'm going to get a Pimax, I got to buy 2 of them, because I don't trust that it's always going to be there for me. So I got to have a backup, and there's no way in hell I'm buying there's no way in hell I'm buying 2 of them. Okay, Paradise says Rift cable does pop out. Okay, so if you get in there and you disconnect it, you can actually pop it out. That's good news. I've never had to do that yet. All right, so where were we here? Anyways, we were on this subreddit. And let's see. I'm getting very hungry, guys. My stomach is growling because, like I said, 1 piece of toast and then a banana, and there's no protein there. I did not get my protein. Okay, so one of the things we're seeing here, Project Elysium VR upcoming open world game. Yeah, we know about this. Now I'm guessing this is somebody's little YouTube video. I'm guessing that this isn't the actual developer themselves. Back us now on Kickstarter. Okay, well, I don't know. Didn't funding fail? They're still continuing development. Okay, so I guess, yeah, this was a Kickstarter. The Kickstarter failed, but they're continuing to bang away at it anyway. But Elysium VR, like, I know this is on Steam somewhere. Let me go ahead and look it up. Let's look it up on Steam, because I think it's one of the one of the upcoming VR games. I know I've seen this, Elysium VR. Let me go ahead and check that out. Paradise Decay says, yeah, the Rift cable is just an HDMI. I twisted mine a year ago and had to add a new cable. Okay, so that's good news. If your cat chews through it, you're not completely boned. That is very good news, because that's not the case with PlayStation VR. You're boned with PlayStation VR if your cat chews through it. Okay, so if we look at upcoming VR games, I'm in the right thing here, right? Yeah, okay. If we look at upcoming VR games, I know one of the upcoming games, like if you start scrolling through all these little, and let's look at the upcoming games, guys. Like, look at these logos. You know, not a lot, like, none of these look very professional. There's Necromutex, that's your boy Paradise. He loves that one. Let's go to number 2. Okay, yeah, a lot of amateur hour stuff. Pros is coming up. Zed looks really good. Oh, do you guys remember when I was talking about like every other game is like some kind of rhythm Beat Saber ripoff? We do have a lot of those. Rhythm Knights, Beat Blasters. There's a couple of them checking in. Blunt Force looks really good. We are excited about that one. Shadow Legend, really hoping this really is February. Really hoping for that. Area Darkness, really hoping that is a February game. Oh, here it is. Elysium VR. Okay, let's go ahead and click on this. And so, yeah, this is RAV3 Interactive. Elysium is a multiplayer role-playing game designed for virtual reality. We checked out the trailer for this, and it does look really cool. It is hyper ambitious. This is another one of these things where they're trying to be kind of like Meta World or something, and they're making one of these hyper ambitious games. And, you know, I hope it works. I really hope it works. The trailer looks awesome. Like, who wouldn't want to live in a Minecraftian world like that? That looks even better. You know, this would be super cool. I mean, look at this. It looks like GTA or something. So, yeah, this would be super sweet. But, you know, will it actually see the light of day? That's really the question. So let's go ahead and go back. Let's go back to where we were over here. But, yeah, this is Project Elysium open world game. I'm not sure if that's a brand new trailer from the actual developers or if that's somebody just making a little YouTube vid. Is spending over $1,000 for an Oculus Rift along with the PC is it worth it? This is kind of the debate that we're getting into here. This kind of speaks to Gary's sister looking to buy a headset for her husband. That's the thing. If he doesn't have a gaming PC, it is kind of a $1,000 deal, which makes it difficult. Is it worth it? I don't know. It's debatable. I think it's like 50-50. I think for some people it would very much be worth it, but I think for other people, not really. And this guy says, what answer did you expect from the Oculus Rift subreddit? This other guy says, depends how much you value your $1,000. If you're going to use the PC exclusively for VR, how much do you play in VR? Like how much? That's the thing too, though, is your PC, you can use it for a lot of other things. It doesn't just have to be a Beat Saber machine. You can use your PC for a lot of other stuff. That's one of the topics that is out there on the Vive subreddit. VR Roundtable, yeah, VR Roundtable. We love that. There's our boy Fluke. Much love to Fluke. I do want to say, look, Fluke, we definitely appreciate this for, letting people know that there is an episode coming up. This stuff helps out a lot, and you guys can do this. I definitely do not want you guys to do this every day because people will get sick of it and they will freaking hate you. So don't do this every day with VR365, but if we have a thumbnail image that is like on my show, it is way out there in advance, sure, you could go. I mean, I can't tell you to do this. I can't even like wish for you to do this. It's like a violation of everything with Reddit, but it wouldn't necessarily be a crime against humanity if somebody did this every once in a blue moon with VR365, just because a lot of people just don't know VR365 exists. That's one of my biggest problems. I've always said this, like me and MameFan were talking about this just the other day. Oh, okay, Reckoner VR has just checked in. She ended up getting a Go. Okay, there we go. Yeah, he recommended a PlayStation VR, but she's decided to go for a Go. And a Go is a very good starter system. It really is, but there is a little piece of me, in the back of my mind, you wonder, is this really going to jazz the person up for VR in general, or is it going to make them think that VR isn't prime time? Like, are they going to understand the limitations of the Go? And are they going to understand that there is something beyond the Go when you do get to 6 DOF? You do have those 2 controllers. I mean, the Go is wonderful for what it is, and I think it is a great starter. I do believe it's a great starter system, so that's good. Anyways, let's see, where was I at? Now I got sidetracked here. Completely forgot what I was talking about. Okay, so we'll scroll through here. Best upcoming VR game? That's a good question. Nobody has commented on that. Let's see what this guy is actually saying here. And I could try to answer this. Oh, that's it. Best upcoming VR game. Real simple, real to the point. What is the best upcoming VR game? I would probably say Stormland, right? Stormland by Insomniac for the Oculus Rift. Right now, see, the way to think about what is your most wanted game, here's the way to think about it. Imagine these games were physical, because they're not physical anymore, but pretend that they were physical in a physical package. And imagine, let's actually, hold on one sec here. Let's go to, we can go to VR game rankings real quick, and we can go to like the top 40 most wanted Oculus Rift or something like that. We can go to that real quick. And because basically what you want to do, so top 40 most wanted Oculus Rift. Let's just click on this one, because then it'll include the Rift exclusives and all of that as well. So let's say you go here. What you would want to do to figure out what really is your most wanted game is you imagine that you're somewhere where there's a big table and Stormland is sitting there and it's in its packaging, and Lone Echo 2 is there, it's done. Population 1 is there. Defector is there. Borderlands 2 VR. Space Junkies. Firmament. Blunt Force. Zed. The Elder Scrolls Blades. Shadow Legend VR. Vacation Simulator. Nostos. District Steel. The Spy Who Shrunk Me. Wolfenstein Cyberpilot. Imagine that all these games were just sitting on that table and you could pick one. You can pick one of those games, but that's it. You're allowed to take one of them. The Half-Life 2 VR mod, it's sitting right there. Land of Amara, it's sitting right there. Titan Arena, Soulscape, Rogan, The Thief in the Castle, The Rig, they're all sitting out there on the table. You can only grab one of them. What is the one game? And for me, it's Stormland. For me, I grab Stormland. Lone Echo 2 is kind of tempting. My worry with Lone Echo 2, like the one thing about Lone Echo 2 that I'm concerned with them reusing assets like a mofo. Like I really feel like they're going to reuse a lot of their assets. And so I'm wondering how much actual new stuff is going to be in Lone Echo 2. If I was convinced that they were not going to reuse any asset whatsoever, and this was a complete full bore, like it's going to last as long as the original Lone Echo, it might tempt me. I might actually be tempted by making Lone Echo my number one pick. But I gotta say Stormland. Population 1, I mean, if you are a multiplayer guy, this might be your number one choice. Trailer looks absolutely drop dead gorgeous. Defector, I'm still absolutely amazed. Here we are, we're in early February. Yeah, that is an actual dog. Oh, he's over there now, he's out of the camera view. But yeah, there is an actual dog in here. I brought my dog in because he was over there and he kept howling and barking and stuff. So I thought if I have him in here, he's close to Papa and he won't be scared and he'll just be calm. But Defector, where is the announcement for Defector? I thought for sure that was going to happen at PAX South in San Antonio. People were able to play Stormland. They were able to play Population 1. They were able to play Defector. And I thought for sure we're going to get a date for Defector. Like Defector is coming on March 12th or something, right? It hasn't happened. Who knows when Defector is coming out at this point in time? Like that's been delayed. I mean, not delayed, but like we don't know. Borderlands is coming this summer probably to PC VR. Some people might be really hyped on that. Blunt Force, Firmament, if you really loved Abduction, Firmament by the makers of Abduction. So these are basically the most wanted games out there, in my opinion, at this current point in time. That's kind of how I would have to break them down. But let's see. We'll go over here to the Vive subreddit. Now, there's also Vive_VR. And MainFan the other day was telling me to check out that subreddit. It's funny because I'm not one of the guys that have defected. Like I've just decided to stick with regular old Vive. I know everybody like 16,000 people, and they're probably the hardest of the hardcore. They defected over. Please show the dog. The dog is over there. Come here, Mace. Mace, come here. Come here, pup. Come here, pup. Everybody wants to see you, pup. Let me move this out of the way. So, oh, you see his tail wagging. Over there, Mace. Go over there so they can see you. See his tail wagging? He's a good pup. I call him Mace. His name's Mason. But yeah, so one of the funny things about this whole Vive subreddit thing, right, is that I've just stuck with this because I don't know. I mean, yeah, developers have been banned and there's all this crazy stuff going on. But I've decided, like, I'll just wait for it to kind of, it'll all blow over and my regular Vive subreddit will return to normal. But a lot of people are going over to this other one. So let's go ahead and check this other one out. It's _VR, right? Vive_VR. Yeah, so here it is, brah. This is the awesome site. This is for the hardest of the hardcore. Vive_VR. Are you a true Vive veteran? This is where you go. And so, yeah, these are, this is what you get on Vive_VR. So you're going to get a lot of shit posts. That's one of the downsides of it. You're going to get a lot of people throwing in their little videos and stuff. Oh, we got the developer of Eye of the Temple. He's asking for playtesters. I wonder if he gives us any kind of hints to when this game is coming out. You might remember we saw the trailer for this and we looked at this game. I think it looks kind of cool. I mean, it's just a basic puzzle game. It's not going to change the world. This is the Steam page right here. We looked at this. Sanctum Dreams coming some point in 2019. The only reason I'm looking at this thread is I'm wondering if he gives us any kind of a hint as to when this game might be hitting. But it doesn't believe he does so. It's not shown in the video here, but the game actually has neither virtual movement nor teleportation. Instead, you step from one moving block to another with your own feet. Yeah, see, the deal with this game is it uses actual room scale. You're physically stepping. It's not using, that's like the trick. That's the trick of this game. It is not using any weird, like there's a mixed reality video. So you step forward, this is what you do. So you actually have to have a play space. And because the moving blocks are going to move around, this is actually a very clever idea. Like, I give this guy a lot of credit because he figured out a clever way to keep somebody in their play space, because the moving platform is going to move around and bring you back to like the center. So it's almost going to trick you in a way. So you're stepping on these blocks. Now the downside is you're going to need a decent little size play space here. Like, in fact, if we go to the Steam page, I believe it requires, yeah, 2 meters by 2 meters. This is almost like Unseen Diplomacy or something. This is going to require some legitimate space. So you got to be aware of that. But I was just wondering if you might give us a little tip on maybe when this puppy's coming, but I'm not seeing any of that. So let's go ahead and back up a little bit. Subnautica Below Zero, not currently planning to support VR. Now, here's the thing about this. I believe it was Fluke Rogi, I believe, in our Discord server was talking about how a lot of people are talking that Subnautica Below Zero, even if you've got an incredible graphics card, you're getting like 28 frames or something. Like, you're not getting good performance. And when you consider that, it's no wonder there's no VR support. Of course there's no VR support. It couldn't handle it. It can't handle flat support, much less VR support. So I think we should probably just forget about Subnautica Below Zero. Just forget about it. I know it's hard. It's incredibly hard for us to forget about it because Subnautica is such a beautiful game in VR. It's such a beautiful world to explore. So you want to see the next one. But yeah, we're going to have to kind of forget about that one. VR with long extension cords. Groundhog Day. Yeah. And yeah, very impressed with Carnage Chronicles. You know, one thing I heard about Carnage Chronicles, actually, why don't we go over to Carnage Chronicles? Because I think there was a new update to Carnage. I need to get back into this because, man, this is one of the best dungeon crawlers we got, guys. Carnage Chronicles. I thought I clicked on it. Let's try it again. Okay, yeah, let's view page. You can see recent reviews, very positive. All reviews, very positive. This was developed by Nordic Trolls. And you can see Carnage Chronicles, Content Update 2. How long ago did they do this? So Content Update 2, this was on January 8th. So yeah, it wasn't too long ago. And they also have a patch that just came out yesterday. Just yesterday they did a patch on this. You can see some of the comments here. I am absolutely blown away by this. The graphics are gorgeous. The combat is really good. The audio, the atmosphere. I mean, this thing got it all. And it's still in early access. And Upload VR says, Carnage Chronicles is a surprisingly solid VR co-op dungeon crawler. And Nathie is commenting as well. He says, Carnage Chronicles is a very ambitious title that lets you choose between several types of locomotion, takes full advantage of a unique inventory system, makes use of refreshing combat mechanics, and much, much more. Yeah, that's your boy Nathie over there. And yeah, I think this is an outstanding game. It's a wonderful game. It has improved. This is a game, like, this bucks the trend of early access. Like, they have improved by leaps and bounds in early access, where a lot of games, I think, barely improve, marginally improve. But here's version 08.62. That is their content update that came out on January 8th. And it introduces new gear, new monsters, and a brand new dungeon with hours of gameplay. Ah, man, yeah, I got to get into this. I mean, I got to get back into this game. Maybe I could do a little Let's Play that shows off some of the new content. But yeah, that's Carnage Chronicles. It is an absolute gem. That's what Paradise is saying. Carnage is a gem, and the devs are constantly adding, improving to it. Absolutely. It is awesome. Oh, MameFan says, keep going down, Vive_VR. Yeah, I know MameFan. Let's go back. MameFan did a post about VR game rankings, which I really appreciate. Yeah, it's down here. The top 200 Vive games at VR game rankings by MameFan. Yeah, I definitely appreciate this. This is awesome because, again, in the same way that we have VR 365, there's a lot of people, they're just not aware of this show. One of the things that I joked to MameFam, actually I was going to talk about this earlier and I forgot about it because I got sidetracked. But one of the things I was telling MameFan is I told him this. I said, I truly believe that anybody that is a VR gaming junkie, if I could force them to watch 4 episodes of this show, I think I would have a lifelong fan, you know, or I mean, I think I would have somebody that would subscribe to the channel and they would regularly check in on the show. But the problem is I got to get them to watch 4 episodes because this is an acquired taste. Because sometimes you come onto this show and the first 7 or 8 minutes are all about, you know, just bull crap. You know, I'm talking about a banana. I'm talking about eating a piece of toast. I'm talking about a dog. People don't give a damn about that unless they know me personally, right? Or, I mean, they know who I am. They might give a damn, but an average Joe Schmo guy is going to tune into it and they're going to be like, what? This guy's talking about his dog. He's talking about having a piece of toast, banana. What? I'm out of here. And that's the problem. If I could get people to watch my show all the way through from beginning to end and watch 4 episodes, I think I will have them for life. And then I think my numbers could explode a lot more in terms of like actual subs and all of that. But that's the problem. But you know what? These kind of posts, they help out. And what MameFan did here, yeah, just be sure the 4 episodes aren't all shiz shows. But you know, it's sometimes the shiz shows are the best. And sometimes what I consider a shiz show, actually, there's some interesting rants. You know, some of the rants might piss people off, but yeah. But yeah, these are the top 200 Vive games at VR Game Rankings. And we did update this very recently. Well, no, actually, we updated the overall finally. These were updated back on January 12th. But yeah, a lot of people are checking this out. They're tuning in. And people will complain about this game or that game. A lot of people are complaining about Orbis VR being number 3. And they think this is like my own private ratings, but it's not. What I want to do at some point, actually, is I need to make editor choice rankings and actually put my real rankings, like my personal rankings, because they're not the same as this. The one thing we did finally update, and it took forever, is our Hot 100. I did finally update this. Now, this is the overall. We did update this, you can see, back on February 1st. It just happened. Remember when I did that show, guys, and Orbis VR was waiting forever? Like I had the 3 games. Skyrim ended up being my number 1. Beat Saber got number 2. Astrobot got number 3. Onward number 4. I kind of was showing you guys how the sausage was made. Well, the sausage was finally made. Orbis ended up at 15. That's where it ended up. And I went through the entire thing. And I did this for 200 games, guys, for 200 games. But look at this. Carnage Chronicles is number 60. And we know how good of a game Carnage Chronicles is, yet it's number 60 because we've got a lot of good games in VR. Audio Shield, Echo Combat, Arctica 1, Raw Data, Lucky's Tale, Pixel Rip, Project Cars 2, Serious Sam, Blaze Rush, The Persistence on PlayStation VR. See, this includes all of the platforms. This includes PlayStation VR as well. So you got stuff like Tetris Effect. Okay, I don't agree with that, but Tetris Effect ranks really high on the PlayStation VR charts. So I gotta, you know, it has to represent. But we've got plenty of great games in VR, folks. Sariento, Red Matter, Moss, Firewall Zero Hour, Rush of Blood, From Other Suns, Subnautica ended up at 20. You know, it still ended up with a pretty good ranking. And we definitely have 100 great games in VR. Like if we go all the way down to 100, Chronos, that's still a banging ass game. Windlands, the first one, a great game. Virtual Reality, a very good game. Scraper checking in at 97. A Chair in a Room, which apparently is coming to PlayStation VR. 2MD VR Football, you want to play a football game for Super Bowl Sunday? That's your ticket. Dead Effect 2, Edge of Nowhere. I mean, we've got great games. These are great games, guys. And I go all the way into 200 of these puppies. Actually, you know what? It's interesting. Let's take a look at the top 200 because I wonder where it starts to fall off. Because eventually it does start to fall off. Like, I don't think we have 200 great games. We might have 150. But like if we scroll all the way down here, I'll start to see where it falls off. Now, we still got great games. We're past the 100 mark. We've got Doom VFR, Iron Wolf, Accounting Plus, Torn, Archangel, Twilight Path, Airtone. Dino Frontier is a really good game on PlayStation VR. A lot of people are sleeping on that. That is Uber Entertainment. Battlezone, Sprint Vector, Abduction, Poker Stars VR, Catan VR. Scion loves that. Standout. Somebody really loves Standout. So, I mean, we're already up to 130. You know, we're up to Compound, Keep Talking, Nobody Explodes, Megalith, Here They Lie by the Tan Gentleman, Megaton Rainfall. We're still, great games still. Great games still. Solus Project, Rush, Contagion, Transpose. Still got very good games. Okay, so we haven't quite fallen off yet. Now, let's see. Now we're in the 180s. Starting to slip a little bit. We're starting to slip a little bit now that we're into the 180s. Like Runes, I don't know that Runes is like... I've never played Runes, so I honestly don't know. Drop Dead's pretty good. Dead Hungry's pretty good. But a lot of these games down here, like Vindicta, like there's some people that don't like Vindicta at all. Hollow Dance, Cyberpunk, Furious Seas. So, I mean, we slip a little bit when we get down to the very bottom of the 200. But we've got a lot of great games in VR. And so, anyways, we got on this subject because of MameFan. It's all his fault, y'all. It is all MameFan's fault. He did a post on that subreddit there, and that is how we got on this entire subject. But yeah, that is where we are over there. Okay, you know, I haven't checked out the PSVR subreddit today. Why don't we check that real quick before we bounce out of here? I am absolutely starving. I got to get some lunch. So I'm going to go ahead and get back. I'm going to go ahead and bounce out of here pretty soon. So SpongeBob VR, remember that teaser trailer that I showed you guys yesterday? It's made in Dreams, and it might be giving us a little bit of a glimpse of how Dreams could be awesome. Like Dreams could be this game that like really changes things in the whole VR thing by giving us so many little things that we can try out in our VR headset. And this SpongeBob thing, it was kind of an example of that. And that's been upvoted to the #1 deal out there. Let's see what the comments are looking like. I'm sure, let's see. Hell of a Tease is the #1 thing right there. And this guy says, Dreams will be the ultimate VR game for design and play, and I hope this game will bring many more PSVR owners on board. I just feel like it's going to be super interesting to see the kind of things people throw in there. You also have to wonder about motion sickness and all that, though. Everybody creating their own little games, like there might be some motion sickness kind of an issue there. Eurogamer says Red Matter is PSVR's best escape room game to date. Hell to the yes. Red Matter is an awesome game, and it's not, and freaking Vertical Robot did not send me a check for $300 or anything like that. I represent Red Matter because I think they freaking killed it. Like, I think Vertical Robot absolutely killed it. I think the PlayStation port is awesome, and yes, it is the best escape the room game on PlayStation VR. Not only that, I think it's one of the 10 best PlayStation VR games, period. And, you know, we're talking about Skyrim is up there, super hot, Moss, Astrobot, Wipeout VR, Firewall 0 Hour. But I think Red Matter's like in there, like it's up in there with those other ones, which I think is pretty incredible. Until Dawn, Rush of Blood, blah, 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 blah. I was just seeing if there might be any little news that might have popped out on here. And no, that's pretty much it. Alrighty, well, you know what? I think we've been going for a while here. I don't know how long I've been going. Has it been an hour? Let me go ahead and check. Yeah, I'm actually well over an hour and almost 9 minutes right now. So I will go ahead and call it like an alcoholic. So let me go ahead and switch over here to my stand. It's funny, I've had this same trailer running since the very beginning. This is some type of little HoloLens sample of a little spaceship flying around using HoloLens and OctoSense technology. This same thing has been running the entire time. But let me go ahead and just get my little outro logo on the screen here and say goodbye to the peeps. This has been the Sunday Funday Show, and it's amazing, isn't it? It is absolutely amazing because I had literally nothing to talk about. But you know what? You give me lemons, I'm gonna make some lemonade, y'all. And that's basically how it is done. That is how the sausage is made. This is how a shiz show is made with absolutely nothing. We make it up as we go along. But that's going to go ahead and do it for this particular episode of VR365. I want to say thank you to all my Patreon supporters out there. I absolutely appreciate that in a major, major way. Thank you to people like MainFan and Fluke that go ahead and give us a little bit of love on some of the subreddits. And you know what? It doesn't have to be on Reddit, guys. Any kind of a little forum where there's VR gamers, people don't know. It's the best kept secret in VR gaming. VR365, VR Roundtable, VR Game Rankings. 3 of the best kept secrets. I like to think so. I like to hope that, well, I don't really want to be a secret, but I like to think we're one of the best secrets. But yeah, that'll do it. I will be back tomorrow, guys, around 11 a.m. Pacific time on Monday. Hopefully some exciting news stories. How awesome would it be if like some headset came out of the blue? Like a Valve headset. How awesome would that be? It'd be nice if we had some incredible stories that might pop up next week. One thing that we can look forward to, I think, on Tuesday is Sanzaru. Sanzaru, you know, that new game, that secret game that they're making for maybe the Rift or maybe it's Quest or whatever. We might find out what that game is on Tuesday. I think we might find out about that. So that's something to look forward to. But I got to bounce out of here. It's Super Bowl day, guys. Super Bowl. Go Rams. Go Rams. I'm sorry, Kaylee Allen, but go Rams, baby. All right, I'm out of here. I will see you guys tomorrow. Have a good one. Later.